You guys see my screen? Okay, so let's start the session. So brief about our previous session, what we have done. So in our session number 4, what we did, we learned about TypeScript, right? So Microsoft has made this language called as TypeScript, which follows the ECMAScript syntax, right? And we have seen how to get started with TypeScript. And then we have seen what all data types are there. And then we move on to functions and interfaces, classes. In last, we have seen what is generics, right? And in last, what we see, we've talk about public, private, and protected modifiers, right? So this much of stuff we have covered in our session number 4 of our course, right? And today is our session number 5, and what we are going to cover today is this much of stuff. Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you how to get TypeScript running on your local system, right? So till now, what we were doing, we were using the playground provided by TypeScript, right? So I'll tell you how you can, if you do not have internet connection at that point of time, then how you can run that locally. Okay, so I'll show you how to run this locally. All right, and then we'll talk about decorators and then modules, internal and external modules, and in last a small topic which is mixins. Okay, all right. Now, so what we have to do is we have to install TypeScript. Okay, so in order to get started, in order to run TypeScript or you convert the TypeScript code to JavaScript, you need TypeScript to be installed in your local system. All right. All right. So first of all, what we need to do, let me open the one more command prompt. Okay. So first of all, what you need to install TypeScript, right? And how we will install TypeScript by using Node, right? If you do not have Node, then first you have to install Node from the nodejs.org. Okay, once that is installed, then you will be able to use npm, right? And you will use npm install -g TypeScript. Okay, so once you install this and you press enter, I'm not pressing enter because it's already installed in my system. All right, but using this command you can also install in your systems. Okay, so npm install -g TypeScript. So once this is done, you will be able to run one command called as tsc. Okay, I'll tell you about this. What is tsc? Okay, our main thing is what you have to do is you have to run this command npm install -g TypeScript. Once this is done, then TypeScript is installed in your system and you can start working on the TypeScript. Okay, now let's go to the folder where I'm having this. Okay, all right. Now, first of all, what I will do, I will create one file in my folder called as scodes. Okay, so let's create a file inside this and I will name it as let's suppose what we call it, let's call it decorators.ts. Okay. So what is .ts file? Just like for JavaScript, we have JS file. Similarly for TypeScript, we have .ts file. Okay. So we have .ts file. All right. So I created this file decorator.ts. Inside this, what I can do is I can write some TypeScript code. Okay. Let's suppose I create a class and it can be any class, let's say temp, and it might having a constructor function. Okay. So this is a TypeScript code which I have written, and maybe I can write a variable as well. Maybe a variable called as skills, and it is going to be of type string. All right. So what is it? It is a TypeScript code, right? Now, what we need to do in order to run this code, we need to first convert this code into JavaScript, right? As we were using what was that TypeScript playground, what it was doing, we were writing TypeScript code, simultaneously it was converting the same code into JavaScript, and that JavaScript code we used to run on the browser. Okay, so same thing now we have to do it on a local system. Okay, so what is the command after you have installed TypeScript? What you need to do in that folder, right? Just like this folder as codes. What I will do, I will write one command called as tsc space minus w. Okay, so what is tsc? tsc is TypeScript compiler. Okay, tsc means TypeScript compiler, and to this I am passing one option called as minus w. What is minus w? Minus w means it will first of all, tsc means it will compile the code. Okay, so under this folder as codes, whatever ts files will be there, what this command will do, it will convert all of them into JavaScript. Okay, and why I am writing minus w? Minus w means it will keep on watching all the TypeScript files under this folder. It will keep on watching all the files under this folder, and what it will do, it will run the compilation automatically, and automatically it will keep on updating the JS file as well. So basically W will keep a watch on the TS files and update the JavaScript files accordingly time to time. Okay. So Vikrant is asking, is there any IDE which can be used to compile and execute TS files? Okay, basically this what we are doing today, it's not required actually for the our further sessions. This is just to explain how it works. Okay, in our further sessions we will be working on Angular. Okay, not the TypeScript. So for Angular, what we will do, we will make use of Angular CLI. Okay, that I will tell you what is Angular CLI and how to work on that. Okay, so you don't need any IDE as of now. Angular CLI works very fine. Okay. And so Janya is asking, do we need to execute gulp? No, you don't need any gulp or grunt. No. As of now, TypeScript does not require it. Okay. All right. So as soon as I'll press enter, okay, what is it telling? It is giving me the options. Yes, minus W is there to watch the input files. But why is it not working? Okay, let me check if you need this file then. Let's see. TSC minus W. Yes, it is the same command, but why is it not working for us? Mhm. We do have minus W. What is it the problem? TSC minus W. Yeah, sorry, it is a JSON file. Let's see now. All right, yeah, it works. Okay, so what TypeScript needs is TypeScript need one file called as tsconfig.json file. Okay, so what is this tsconfig.json? It contains some TypeScript options. Okay, so don't ask me what they actually mean. Okay, but it needs one JSON file which will tell the options for the TypeScript. Okay, yeah, Monica, I'm coming to it. Okay, so what TypeScript need? It needs one JSON file which contains some configurations in order to run the TypeScript. Okay, so in your root folder, you will need one file called as tsconfig.json. Okay, and yeah, you can automatically generate it as well by using tsci-init, which I think Amy has sent. Yeah, if you do this, it will basically create this file automatically. Okay, so you need not to go in deep of this file. Only thing is it requires this file is required by TypeScript. Okay, then what I have done, I have written TSC, right? What is TSC? Once you have installed the TypeScript, this command will automatically start working for you. Okay, so installing the TypeScript will give you the TSC. Okay, just like when you install JDK and JRE, right? You get Java and Java C, right? You get the Java and Java compiler as well. Similarly, when you install TypeScript, you get the TypeScript compiler. Okay, so that is why we are writing TSC, and after that, either you what you can do, you can compile each file one by one. Okay, let's suppose I say decorator.ts. Okay, what it will do, it will basically compile only one file, decorator.ts. That's it. Okay, instead what we do, we directly write -w. Okay, so TSC will automatically compile all the TS files in that particular folder in which you run this command, right? So whatever files are there inside this TS codes, whatever TS files are there, they will automatically be converted to JS files. Okay, and -w means it will always keep on running. Keep on running means it will always keep on checking whether there is any change. Right, as soon as I press enter, it says compilation is completed, watching for the file changes. Okay, so we don't need not to run this command every time. It will automatically do that for us. All right, now let's see. You can see there is another file created automatically, which is decorators.js. So same name, only thing is extension is changed. It is TS, now it has automatically created JS file. Okay, so whatever we have written here, a class we have written, so the same class got converted into the JS code. All right. So this is the setup, how you do a setup of TypeScript in your local machine. All right. This is from the setup point of view. All right. And yeah, somebody was asking for editors or IDE as well. IDE you don't require as such, but yeah, editor you can use any, like I'm using Sublime. You can use Visual Studio Code as well. All right. So both of these editors are mostly used. Yeah, you can use any editor you want. Only thing is, like Sublime is having a plugin for TypeScript code. Okay, so when I'm writing like class, right, you can see it is giving me the syntax automatically, right? So all these benefits we get when we get the plugin with it. Maybe gedit also having TypeScript plugin. If it is there, then you can use it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Visual Studio Code is also having plugin. Okay. Yeah. And you need not to run this command every time, Sojanya. This one, once you have given this command, it will automatically keep on looking for the changes. Okay. You can see it is not closed. It is waiting for the file changes. Okay. Let's suppose I make a change here and I save it. You will see it will automatically change. Right. You can see file change detected, starting incremental compilation. Compilation complete, waiting for file changes. All right. Yeah. So now let's talk about our topic, which is decorators. All right. So what is a decorator and how it works? I'll tell you. So first of all, if you guys are from Java background, then you must have used decorators, right? It is one of the concepts from Java as well. Okay. If you have worked on Spring, servlets, and mostly Spring and Hibernate, then you must be knowing that what are decorators. Okay. And in Java terms, they are called as annotations. They call them annotations. Okay. So for if you say some Java, then you must have something called as at the rate, maybe controller, I think, or whatever. Okay. So that is what in TypeScript called as decorators. Okay. Why decorators? Because they are used to decorate some of the classes, right? So decorators are of multiple types. We will see. All right. So first of all, question comes, what is a decorator, right? So if I write here, what is a decorator? Decorators are some markers or annotations in your code, right? Which adds the metadata for the entity on which it is applied, right? So what are decorators? They are markers or annotations in your code which adds some metadata. Okay, so basically decorators tell some information about your code. All right. So there can be several types of decorators. It can be a class decorator. It can be method decorator. It can be a property decorator. Okay. All right. So why we are studying about decorators? Because Angular uses decorators. Okay. Because AngularJS uses decorators, Angular 2 uses decorators. That is why we are studying about decorators here. All right. So I'll show you how to create a decorator of your own. All right. However, in Angular, we will not be creating decorators at any point of time. All right. I repeat, we will not be creating decorators of our own. But you should know that how a decorator works or what is the syntax and how it is written. Okay. So that is why we will study about decorators. All right. So in Angular, you will be seeing that there is a decorator called as component. Okay. Just a second. Give me 1 sec. Yeah. So what I was telling about this decorator called as @component. Okay. So this is a syntax of a decorator. All right. So what you do on a class or on a property or on a method, you decorate something like this. Okay. So how a decorator start? It starts with @. After that, you give the name of the decorator. Okay. And then you can use parentheses to pass some parameter to it. Okay, something ABC. Okay, or a parameter can be a object as well, like this. Okay, so this is a decorator. All right, now let's create a decorator of our own. All right, so what we will do, we'll create a decorator. Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you about the class decorator. Why is it called as class decorator? Because it is applied at the class level. Okay, since I am applying it here, so it will be telling some information about the class, this class temp. All right. So I apply some decorator on this class. So let's suppose I write a decorator called as set skills. Okay. So I made a decorator. I applied a decorator called as set skills. All right. So maybe what this can do is we will see what it can do. Okay. So once you apply a decorator on a class, it should be a function. Okay. So what is a decorator? Decorator is internally a function. Okay. So what you need? You need to have a function with the same name. Okay. You need to have a function with the same name. So this set skills is a function. All right. Similarly, what we have a inbuilt decorator called as component. Okay. @component is one of the inbuilt components in inbuilt decorator in Angular. Okay. It is inbuilt decorator. Okay, so that means internally this will also be a function in one of the AngularJS files. Okay, so let's not talk about component now. We will talk about component in Angular, but for now we will see how they are created. Okay, so we have created this function set skills, which is a decorator on this class temp. Right now you have applied some decorator. It should do some work for you, right? You apply decorators when you want to set some metadata or which tells some information about your class. Okay, so what we do is we will make it very simple, and what we will do, we will try to make this skills property, we will try to set this skills property from this decorator. Okay, so what this requires, this set skills function, which is a decorator, right? It requires one parameter whose name you can keep as target maybe. Okay, this is a private variable, local variable, you can keep any name, but generally in good practice, a target is used. Okay, if we see what is this target, we can print this console.log of target. Okay, let's keep it on the top so that declaration comes first. All right, now what I do, I try to create an object of this class temp. Okay, so what I do, I write let obj equals new temp. Okay. Then let's see what will happen when we'll try to create an object of temp, right? Now what we will do, we will go to the JS file, right? Let's see if everything is changed. Yes, it is changed, and decorator.js is containing some unreadable code, right? It is containing a hell lot of stuff, but we'll not, our main concern is not to go through that code. Our concern is just copy this code and we will run it in the browser, right? We cannot run TypeScript code. That is why we are converting it to JS first. Okay, so let's go here and I will just run this code and I press enter, right? What you can see here, what is printed? A function is printed, right? What is this printed here? That line is nothing but this console.log of target. Okay, so whenever you apply a class decorator, right? Then what is input to the decorator? This target. This target is this complete function. So this complete function goes as input or as a parameter to our decorator function. All right. So that means we can play around with this from the function. Okay. So what we can do, we can set its property, which is skills, from here. Okay. So what I'm doing is I am doing a very simple example just to show you that how decorators basically works. Okay. Because we will not be creating the decorators of our own, but we will be using them, right? But before using them, you should know that how decorators basically work, right? So what we will do is I'll just show you that how we can set the skills property for each object. Okay. So what we have here target dot, we will take prototype property, prototype dot what skills, right? And then we will set it to some cricket. Okay. So what we did, we took the target is nothing but this function, right? And we are setting skills property to cricket. All right. Now let's see after this, if we call obj dot skills. Okay, we try to print it. I'll write console.log statement. Okay, so in our class, we haven't assigned any values to skills, right? We haven't changed any value, but in our decorator, we have set it value to cricket. All right, and then I created an object of my temp class, and then I'm trying to find what is the skills that object have. Let's save this and let's see, it is changed. Yes, let's copy this code now and I'll put it in the browser. Okay, I just paste this code and once I press enter, you can see what it prints. It prints first this function is printed, after that cricket, right? So what benefit we got? We got one benefit that at any class, if you apply this decorator at the rate set skills, right? It will automatically add one property called as skills and whose value will be initialized by cricket. Okay. So what benefit we are getting? We are getting one thing that whenever you apply a decorator called as set skills on any class, okay, just like I applied on temp class. So that is why any object of temp class will have one property called as skills. All right. Okay. Now to the question, prototype keyword is not of TypeScript. It is JavaScript syntax only. Prototype is there right from the very basics. All right. Yeah. And what is the sequence of execution? Sequence as execution is very similar. Like you got this JavaScript file, right? So this JavaScript file is pretty simple. Not pretty simple by look, but yeah, it is very simple only, right? So there is nothing much in this. Whenever a class is getting created, it look at this, that set skills is there, right? Set skills is a decorator, and TypeScript know what is a decorator. So it will call this function. Okay, it will pass this class as an input to this function, right? And what it gets the one extra additional property called as skills, which sets it to cricket. Okay, and after that we see we are simply creating an object and we are just printing the one of the property.
If we had set some a value in the constructor, if we had passed the value and then in set skill again it updates that value, so it will be overwritten.
Okay, so I take this, I write it like this, right?
Yeah.
And you pass some value here, football. All right, so let's take this code now and I paste it here. No, constructor overrides the value which is given by the decorator.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So basically what I'm showing you is just to show you the example how the constructor or how the our decorator is created. Okay. So as I told, in real life you will not be creating them, but yeah, you should know how they are actually done. All right. Okay, so Vikrant is asking that is prototype is used to access property of target irrespective whether target is object. No. So in our case, target is a function, right? Class, it is a class, right? Class is nothing but a function. It gets converted to a function only. Okay. Now what we will do, let's talk about parameterize decorator. Okay. So that means you can, Vikrant, I'm coming to it. All right. So what we have a parameterized constructor. Okay. Parameterized decorator. So what we were doing currently, we were having a cricket value which is always getting assigned to the skills, right? Now what we can have that this cricket may vary, right? We can have this as an input from the user. Okay. So I want that whosoever is going to use my decorator set skills, it's up to him. He can pass one parameter to me and I will set its value according to that. Okay. Now what I want the constructor to or decorator to be parameterized. All right. So let's create a parameterized one. All right. So how you call a parameterized decorator? By using the function bracket, right? And in this you can pass some value. Let's suppose football. Okay. I just change it. All right. So you can see it is already throwing an error that you cannot invoke this because our set skills function is not designed according to the needs of this parameterized decorator. Okay. So how you write a parameterized decorator? Parameterized decorator is required to return one factory function. Okay. So what is needs to be done? It needs to return a factory function. And from that function, what it can accept? It can accept some parameters. Maybe first one I will call target, and another one maybe I think I don't need another one. So if I see parameterized one, yeah, we don't need. Okay, and then I don't need this as well. And here I will need one param. Okay, so if you want to pass a parameter to the decorator set skills, right? So where this parameter will go? This parameter will go here. All right, and this function should return another function. Okay, basically a function returning another function. This is nothing but called as a factory. Okay, to create the objects. All right, now this is containing this target. All right, so let's do one thing. Let's print this target and param now. Console.log of target, and let's print param as well. All right, let's save this, and what I do is I just go here. Is it done? Yes, let's take this code and I will just put it in the browser. Okay, what is it printing? It is printing football and then undefined. Let me just refresh this first. What it prints? It prints football. What is this football and what is undefined? Okay, let's return first target from this. And let's refresh again and let's see. Okay, line number 9, which is target. So target is again a function, and this is football. Okay, we got this. All right, so what is it? Target is again a function, right? This complete function, and we got the parameter as well. All right, so what we need to do, we need to just write the same syntax, target dot prototype dot what? Skills, right? And it will be equal to what? It will be equal to this param. Okay, and from this you need to return this target as well. Okay, so you made some changes inside this function, inside the factory function, and that factory function should return the target back in order to reflect in the parent class. Okay, not the parent class, I'll say it from the invoking class. All right, so now we have returned the target from this. Let's see if it is able to work as per our need. Okay, so I'll just, okay, it is not yet changed. Yeah, so I'll just copy this JavaScript code and I will run it in the browser. All right, and you can see here it is printing football, right? Whichever value I am passing, it is printing that. So if I change it to something else, if I make it cricket, all right, then what I can do is I can just again copy this code, and if I refresh here and I paste this, you can see it is printing cricket. Okay, so this is nothing but just a parameterized version of the class decorator. Okay, in earlier version what we were having, we were not passing any parameter, but in this case we are passing one parameter. That's it. There is nothing much difference. Okay, yeah, so this is how you create a class decorator. Why we call it class decorator? Because we are applying it at the class level, right? Before defining this class, I am telling that I am going to use one decorator called as set skills. Okay. Next comes is the property decorator. Okay. So property decorator, I can show you here. Who passes the target as parameter? What is this question? Who passes the target as parameter? It is by default when you use this syntax at the rate set skills, right? It becomes a annotation or a decorator. Internally in TypeScript knows that it is a decorator now.
Previously, it was getting passed at the set skills. Now it is getting passed at the function which is returned by the set skills. How does
Right, that's the
it's
internal syntax only. So documentation of TypeScript says if you want a parameter to be passed, then you have to return a factory function which will accept this class as a target. It's
okay?
their implementation.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So next is the property decorator, which I'll tell you from here. Okay. So you can see this is a class player 4, right? And it is having a definition like this, which is again having a skills property, which is a string. And then we are having one function called as get skills. Okay. Maybe we don't need this function get skills at all. Yeah, we don't need this. We can just remove this. Okay. Now, what we want to do? We want to use a property decorator, right? What is the meaning of property decorator? It will be applied at the property level, right? This is a property skills, right? And we are applying a decorator at the rate get set. Okay, so this get set will be a function, right? Function get set. All right. And what do we want to do? Let's suppose we want to do the same thing. We want to set this property skills. All right. Now in this case, what it passes two things. It passes two parameters automatically. What are those parameters? Let's print both the parameters. Console.log of target as well. Okay. For that, I think I will need to go into the other one. Yeah, I need to go into other folder called as sample codes. Right here, I will again do the same thing. tsc-w. All right. Okay, so we have got this property decorator file. Okay, let me close the other ones so that you will not get confused. All right, this line line number 6, I'll tell you, don't focus on that. Let me just comment this out. Okay, and let's comment this as well. So for now, just look, we are having a class called as player 4, which is having a property called as get skills, and we are applying a decorator called as at the rate get set. At the rate get set is nothing but a function, because decorators are ultimately functions only. And a property decorator passes two values, right? Just like your method decorators, it passes one value, which is target, right? Similarly, property decorator passes two values, which is target comma name. And I am printing both name and target. Let's see what it will show in the output. Let me just copy this code of JS and I feed it to the browser. And once I print this, you can see two things are getting printed. First one is skills, right? What is this skills? This skills is the name of the property on which that property parameter property decorator is applied. Okay, get set is the decorator which is applied on skills, right? Same thing we are getting in name. This name is nothing but this name of the property on which the decorator is applied, right? Skills. And second is target. What is this target? This target is object now. This is not function now. Okay, so in case of property decorator, we get a class object. We get the object of that class. Okay, so that means target is getting a object now. All right, now how you create a property in an object, or how you set a property in an object? You can set it by using a function on object, right? If you know JavaScript, if you have done the basics course, then you must be familiar with the line number 6. What it says? It says object. What is this object? This capital object is the object class, which is the topmost parent, right? And then define property is its function, right? So we are defining a property on object. Which object? It takes some parameters, right? First one is target. Target is the object in which I want to add the property. Second is the property name, right? This name is skills, right? Which I am making use here, name. And then this object which contains value, which is cricket. Okay, so what we have done, we got the object of player 4. In that we have defined one extra property with the same name which we got from here. Okay, so the same name is we are getting here. All right, so I repeat line number 6. What is it? It is a way of defining a property in an object. Okay, so capital object, you already know, is the topmost parent of any object in JavaScript, right? Define property is one of the functions on capital object, right? Which takes 3 things. First one is the object in which you want to define a property, right? Define property does what? It basically defines a new property to object, right? In which object? The first parameter is the object in which you want to create. Second parameter is name of that property, right? What is actually name? Name is one of the parameters, right? It is actually skills, right? And then third one is the object which contains the value for that particular property, right? So basically skills will get this value. All right, so we got this. After that, let's save this and uncomment line number 17. Okay, so what we are doing, we are creating an object from this player 4, right? After that, what I am doing, I am doing the same thing. I am just trying to get the value of skills, right? Let's save this and see if it is getting the cricket or not. Let's copy this code. And once I paste it here, you can see it is printing cricket. Okay, so this is how you create a property decorator. Okay, so there are some property decorators in Angular which we will use, which is called as input, and there is another decorator called as output. Okay, what are these? These are property decorators, right? Just like in class decorator, this one I told you that class decorator is one of the decorator of is component, right? At the red component. So at the red component is one of the class decorator which you apply at class level. Okay, this also you will come in Angular. Okay, this component at the red component, who created this? This is created by Angular people who have created the Angular. Okay, similarly at the red input and at the red output are the what? They are the property decorators which we will use in Angular. Okay, so no worries, because we will not create these custom decorators. This is just for the knowledge point of view and from the understanding point of view. because in next session or maybe next to next session we will talk about decorators in Angular. Okay, so that syntax, that at the rate component, at the rate input, all that stuff is will not be new for you, right? Because you will already be familiar that okay, this is something which we have already seen. At the rate we have already seen, at the rate component we have already seen, right? So for that, okay, so this is from the property decorator. Now from, let's talk about method decorator. Okay, so what is a method decorator? Method decorator is which you apply on a method or on a function, right? So this is one of the examples. I am having a class called as my method decorator, and in which I am having a function called as say hello, right? And what I did, I created a method decorator, right? Why we call it method decorator? Because it is applied on a method, right? It is applied on a method. That is why it is a method decorator, right? And what is the purpose of decorators? They basically add some metadata or basically helps you in doing some stuff, right? They will help you. Okay. Now I want this say hello, right? This say hello is not having any definition. Okay. And this also, like what I will do, I will change the definition of this function via this decorator. Okay. This is also something a hypothetical scenario only, right? Actually, we will know we are not going to do any such stuff, but just to show you that there is some implementation, how these are implemented, I am doing this. Okay. So what I want if at the rate hello decorator is used on any function, right? What I want its definition to be given by me. Okay. So which means if I apply at the rate hello decorator on any function, I want it to have one console.log statement hello, like this. Okay. So I just remove this. All right. So what a method decorator requires? A method decorator require 3 parameters, right? So what we started with a class decorator, which require 1 parameter. Then we came to property decorator, which requires 2 parameter. Then the third decorator, which is method decorator, which requires 3 parameters. Okay. What are they? They are target, right? Then method name, right? This is a method name which we will be getting as the second parameter. And third parameter is the descriptor, right? What is the descriptor? Descriptor is basically the complete information of that function. Okay. So if we will write descriptor.value, that will be basically containing this information. Okay. So we have printed this. Let's first comment these 2 lines. Okay. Let's first see what is printing in this console.log statement. Let's save this. And I go here, I just copy this code, which is already the compile code, right? You can see I have done this thing once, tsc-w, and it is automatically compiling the changes for me. Okay, so I just go here, I just paste it. Is it not copied? Okay, so we got these 3 things. First one is the object. As usual, we got the object in the target. Second one is this say hello. Say hello is nothing but name of the function. Okay, so this method name we got say hello. Third one is descriptor. So what is descriptor? Descriptor is nothing but one complete object which is giving you the complete information of your function on which the decorator is applied, and value contains that particular complete definition of the function. Okay, so that is why what I am doing, I am writing line number 12 and 13. I am writing descriptor.value. right? Basically, I'm giving definition to this function. It is not having any definition right now, right? I'm giving definition to this function. Descriptor.value equals this function. Complete function I have passed to this descriptor.value and return that function. Return the descriptor. Okay. So now what will happen? This will have one line called as console.log hello. Okay. And then when I will call the OB, which is the object of this function, this class, and it will have one function called as say hello. Say hello is nothing but this function, right? Ideally, it should not print anything because it is not having any line inside it, right? If we see here, this is an empty definition, right? It should not print anything in the console. But since I have used @hello decorator on this, it will automatically get one line, which is this console.log of hello. Okay, let's save this, and then I'll just take this code from the JavaScript file and I will put it in the browser. Okay, and I paste it here. All right, you can see hello is printed. Okay, so now this decorator has what it done. It has given us a definition of the function. Okay, yeah. All right, so this is bit tricky, even from the syntax point of view. This looks very ugly because it is, yes, it is difficult, little difficult to know, but yeah, one thing which is good, that Angular has given you a lot of decorators, so you need not to basically create the decorators, rather you will be using them. Okay, so what I have done is I have done some extra work so that once you will get to know, once you will reach that stage where you will see a syntax which is containing some decorators, right? So that at that point of time, you guys will not be surprised and you will not ask, what is this decorator? What is this @? Okay. Vikrant, I hope you got my answer. Okay. Okay, so Jane is asking, inside the class, when we define a method level decorator, is it is not mandatory to use function keyword for a function? So we have discussed this, right? That inside a class you need not to mention a function keyword. Inside a class you can directly write a function like this. That's the syntax of a class. Okay, so inside a class you will not need, do not need to write a function keyword. All right, yeah. So that's it about the decorators. Now coming to, let me see if I have something here as well. Decorators, after that we have modules, and then exports, and then names mixins. Okay, so let me close these files. All right, now what I do, I talk about the modules. All right, so I think what I need to do is I need to create a, okay, so what I do, I just come back to my own folder where I was earlier, right? Okay, now I will be creating fresh files here. So I said tsc -w. Okay, so to tell you about modules, let me create a file called as first module.ts. Okay, So you can see as soon as I created a module.ts file, it has automatically created a module.js file as well. No matter it is empty, but yeah, it is that fast. Okay. Now, so when you write a class, right? Maybe class ABC, right? And you may be having a constructor inside this. You might have some function inside this, right? And what it does, it just prints something, maybe hello. Okay. So what we have done, we have created a class, right? Can you see any module present here? What is a module? Module is nothing but a collection of classes. Okay. So if we say your code is modularized, right? Modularized means there is a separation, which there is a logical separation among your code, right? That is what the meaning of modularized code, right? So similarly in your TypeScript, what you do, you create different modules, right? What is modules? Modules is nothing but a set of code. Okay. So in this TS file, do you see any module present? Explicitly no, right? There is no module present explicitly in this class, in this TS file, right? But there is something called as implicit module. Okay. So implicitly every class will belong to a module, or I'll say top level module, or which is also called as the window object. All right. So what is window object? Can anyone tell me what is window object? Nobody?
Class in the browser.
Right. So window is an object in JavaScript, right? Which basically points to the window of your browser, right? So that is the top level object, right? Basically you are able to create in JavaScript, if you guys are aware, you are having one simple function called as alert, right? Why you are able to call this function alert? Because it is attached with the object called as window. Okay. If you do this, maybe it will tell you as well. No, here it is not telling because it is TS file. Okay. If you write window.alert, that will also work. Okay. If you write window.alert, that will also work. But this window is need not to be specified explicitly. That is why when you write alert, it also works. Okay. That is in the case of JavaScript, right? Now, in our case, what we do, we directly write let some x equals new of ABC, right? Like this. How are we able to directly write ABC? It is not having any module currently, right? But implicitly it is having the window as its module. Okay. So in TypeScript, what you can do, you can create some explicit modules as well. Okay. So that means you can create your own modules. All right. And you should create so as you can modularize your code. Okay. And how you create a module in TypeScript? By writing module, maybe m1 is the name of module, and you can put your class inside that module like this. Okay. All right. So what I have done, I wrapped my class, right? I wrapped my class at one level, right? So now this class belongs to M1 module. So module is a keyword in TypeScript, okay, and its syntax is just like a class, right? You write module, you write class, right? You write name of the module, you write name of the class. Okay, now you can see as soon as I created this module and I wrapped this class with this module, you are seeing an error here at line number 18. Cannot find name ABC. Okay, because now this class ABC does not belong to the global scope. It is not in the Windows scope. Okay, it belongs to M1, right? So that means you will be able to write this line number 18 if I cut it from here and I write inside the module. Oops. Okay, and I write it here, then it will work. You can see there is no red line, there is no error now, because this class belongs to this module, right? And this line is also written in the same module. So that means this ABC is accessible here, but not outside this module. Okay, so that is why if I do Control Z, when I am doing like this, it is throwing an error that ABC is not found. Okay, so what you need to do in order to make this available, right? You can make this class available outside as well, outside this module. You should make it available, right? So what you will do, you will write one keyword called as export. Okay, so when you export this class, right, that means this class can be accessed outside this M1 as well. Okay, outside this module as well, this class can be accessed. Otherwise it was private to that module. Okay, but you will say that it is still giving me error, right? It is still saying it is not found. Why? Because I am trying to directly refer to ABC, which is inside a module, right? So instead of this, what you need to do, you need to refer it via this module M1. Okay, so what you will write here at line number 16, you will write M1.abc. Okay, so you will write M1.class name. Then you will be able to create the objects of that particular class. Okay, and yeah, you can use access specifiers as well if you want to use, no problem in the access specifiers. They will behave the same as we have done, as we have seen in the previous session.
Instead of export, can we use public to access that class outside the module?
No, you have to export it.
Okay.
Okay, and unless you do not export this, you will not be able to access this m1.class name like this, right?
Okay.
It is only belonging to this module unless you export this. So you have to export the class in order to use it outside this module. Okay, now what you will be able to do, you will be able to call x.xyz function like this. Okay, xyz is the function in this class. Okay, let's save this. We are having the JS file ready. We will just copy this JS code and we will put it here. And let's see, it prints hello. Okay, so this is how you can create a module. Okay, now one module can have as many classes as you want. Okay, there can be as many classes as you want. Let's create one more class. So I will export that class as well. Some maybe person class, right? Which might have get person info as a function, and it can print something, maybe whatever you want to print, hello person. Okay, so you can have something like this as well, export class person as well, right? So now we got two classes exported from module M1. Okay, so now how you will access this class as well? Very similar, M1 dot person, like this. Just like ABC, you will be calling M1 dot person. Okay, yeah, we have to write new, so in order to call this, yeah. All right, so that's pretty simple. Okay, so you got to know how you access a class, a module inside the file, within the file. Okay, now let's talk about outside the file. Okay, let's suppose there is another file in which you want to use these classes, right? You want to use this class, you want to use this module completely. Okay, then what all you need to do? So I will create another file, new file, and I'll give it a name, consumer of modules.ts. Big name, no problem. Okay, so I created one ts file whose name is consumer of modules, right? Consumer of modules means these modules will be consumed there. So I will just remove these lines from the bottom. I'll just remove this. Okay, I'll just having one module here inside this ts file, which is having two classes which can be imported, exported. Okay, so first thing, what you need to do here in the consumer of modules, which will basically consume that, right? You need to write import. What is import? Import is a keyword, right? What it needs? It will take one curly braces, and inside that you can mention the name of your module or name of the classes which you want to import. Okay, let's suppose I want to import ABC, right? I will say ABC class from where you want to import. You want to import from, what is file name? It's first module. Okay, what it says, files session 5 escorts first module is not found, is it? If we write .js, no, still doesn't work. Why is it telling like this? Okay, it says file this .ts is not a module. How come is it not a module? It is a module. Okay, let me check.
Rajat, I think there we are exporting the class, not module. That's why, maybe.
Exactly, you got it right. So we need to export a module as well. Okay, in order to pass it here, you need to export the module as well. Okay, so we were able to use it here. If I do Control Z, right, we were able to use it because it's in the same file. It is in the same ts file, but when we want to use it outside this file, we need to first export this module as well. Okay, now there are three ways in which you can import this. Okay, there are three ways in which you can import these modules as well as classes. All right, okay, what is it? First module, Where is it? Where is, yeah, here. Okay. So what we are doing here, we have to import this module, right? So how can we import this? We can import this by its module name. Import M1 from first module. Okay. So if you import M1, it will automatically import all the classes of its which are inside it. Okay, like this. M1. So what we have done, we have imported the complete module here in this file, right? Now if I try to access, maybe if I try to create an object of ABC, obj of person maybe, okay, or maybe I say person obj, then I try to create an object of person, right? This person class is inside M1, right? So what I have to write, I have to write new M1 dot person, like this. Okay, so when you try to create a person object from the module M1, right, you got this person class, right? You can call new M1 dot person, like this. Okay, now let's try one more thing. If I do not export this class, let's suppose this person class, I haven't exported this. Okay, and then if I see here, you can see it is giving me underline, red line error, which is person does not exist on type M1, right? Because only exported classes, right? Only one class is exported here, which is ABC. I can use m1.abc because ABC class is exported, but since I have not exported the person class, that is why I am not able to use it here. Okay, so if you import a module, that does not mean that it will give you access to all the classes. No, if you import a module, then you will get access to only those classes which are exportable. Okay, so let's Control Z. I make it exportable and everything is fine now, right? Underline is gone. Okay, now in this case we were having the explicit module, right? This was the explicit module where we are writing an export module and we are doing this, right? Let's suppose there was another file which is just having classes. So I give it a name, second module.ts. Okay, it just have some classes, maybe human, right? It is having some get human info, right? Which just print something. Let's suppose hello human. Okay, so first of all, if you want to use it, this class outside this module, here we are not writing any module, but yeah, there is an implicit module present, right? So we have to export that. If you have to export this class, right, how will you import it? You will import it by class name. Import curly bracket, then what? Name of the class. What is name of the class? Human. I copy this and I paste it here. From where? Dot slash. Dot slash means it points to the current folder. Dot slash means where? Second hyphen module. Second hyphen module. Right? So what I can do, I can say let human obj equals new of what? Human. Right? There is no error. Okay. So this is how you can import directly classes, right? There was no module here, right? It was directly exporting the class. So what you have done, you have directly written import human class from this. Okay, and one more thing you will notice here, that we are not mentioning .ts or .js file explicitly, right? We are not mentioning it because it is doing automatically. Okay, so in Angular as well, we will not write the extension of our classes. When we will import, right, we will import services and all, we will not write their .ts or .js. We will just write their name. Okay, so these are two types of import, and third one is also there, which is for the modules. What you can do is you can write import, right? Import what? Import m1, and then you can write as, then you can give a alias to this, maybe my modules from where /first hyphen module. Okay, is there any syntax error I have done? Let me check. Import star as m. Okay, star as my module. All right. Okay, let's suppose when you want to import all the modules. Okay, let's suppose there were multiple modules present here. All right, like m1 is one module. Okay, like we have different classes, more than one classes in one module. There can be more than one modules in one file. There can be 10 modules present here, m1, m2, m3, m4. Okay, in those cases what you will do, either you do one thing, you write all m1, m2, m3, m4 like this, or what you can do is you can do write a syntax like line number 4. Okay, what it will do, it will import star. Star means all. Import all the modules as my module. Okay, or maybe as my modules from this file. It will import all of them. Okay, and how will you use it? You will use it like this. At line number 8, I will make a change. My modules dot m1 like this. Then you will use it like this. So my modules will be containing all the modules. After that, I am specifying which module I want to use. I want to use m1, and then I am specifying which class I want to call. I'm writing person. Okay. Is this clear? The concept of modules, how you export classes, how you export modules, and how you import them. All right. Yeah. So that's it about modules. Now let's talk about the what is remaining. External, internal modules, external modules, right? So internal modules are nothing but these are called as internal modules only within the file. Okay, and when you make it available to outside world, then it becomes the external modules. Okay, now let's talk about the mixins. Okay, so what is mixins? If I tell you about the mixins, so if you guys are aware of backend technologies, maybe Java or Spring, or there are several others. All right, so you must be knowing mixins if you have worked on backend technologies. If not, then no need to worry. I'll tell you. So what is mixins? Mixins is a concept. Okay, it is not new to TypeScript, and it is not related to TypeScript only. Okay, so it is a general concept. All right, so what is the meaning of mixins? So I'll tell you with an example. Okay, so if you see here, right, so let's suppose you are having one table which is containing the products. Okay, you are having a table whose name is products. There is another table whose name is prices. Okay, so we have a table called as products which contains information of the product. Let's suppose product name, product description, what is weight of the product, in which on which date it was manufactured. All that stuff is stored in a products table. Okay, I am trying to explain you in terms of backend technologies. Okay, if you think about from the backend technology, you are having tables, right? So I am explaining you in terms of that, because through that it is easier to understand. Okay, so you are having a table in your database whose name is products, right, which contains the information of the products. Information means, as I told, name, description, all that stuff. All right, now let's suppose there is another table called as prices, right? What is prices table contain? Price table will contain the price information of that particular product, right? Let's suppose there are 100 products in the products table, then price table will also contain the 100 entries, which will contain the price information of all the 100 products. Okay, and they will be mapped, maybe mapped via ID, foreign key, primary key concept. Okay, now this is a something of separation, right? While designing the database, they have done this separation from product to price. Okay, now maybe sometime you need only the information of products, right? And maybe sometime you need only the prices. Okay, now at some point of time, what you need the information of both. Okay, you need all the products as well as their prices, right? User want the information of products along with its price, right? Then what you do, there comes the concept of mixins. Okay, so what happens in mixins? Mixins will basically take the information of products, right? It will take the information of price and it will merge both of them, merge the complete information and then send it to the client. Okay, so this concept is called as the mixins. Basically mixing a few extra properties to a existing object according to the need or the request basis. Okay, if I just make a complete quick here. Okay, so let's suppose what you are having a JSON in which you are having something. Let's suppose product ID is there, some 1 2 3 4 5, and then you are having the product name, which is some maybe mobile, maybe Samsung S4, and then you are getting its information like description, maybe it contains some smartphone. Okay, all this information was present in the product table, right? And then in the another one, what you are getting from the price table, right? It is having some price ID, which may be 345. It may be containing the product ID, which is 12345, right? Which is acting as a foreign key, right? This product acting as a foreign key here, and then it is containing the some price information, maybe some 50,000 bucks. Okay, so this information was present in product table. This information is present in price table, right? Now, what user want is, user want the information of both, right? Now, what user want? User want something like this. Let me copy this. And user want something like this. This complete information is required by user, like this. Okay, so this is called as the concept of mixins, right? Which will basically take the data from first table takes the data from second table and it will merge both of them and then send it to the client. Okay, so it can be like on the need basis, right? Let's suppose tomorrow there was something else as well. Let's suppose there is another table which gives the inventory, right? Which gives the inventory. Maybe inventory, maybe there are 100 products available and it contains the product ID as a foreign key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this request is, this response is for one of the request. That request says I want product information along with the price, right? Tomorrow somebody else comes and they say I want the product information along with the inventory, right? Then he don't need a price, right? What he will do, he will add inventory to this. What was the inventory? It was 100. Then it will send the information like this. Okay, so this concept is called as the mixins. Basically mixing the data which is required by the user on the need basis. Okay, so this concept of mixins is from long in the backend technologies. In Java it is quite long. Okay, so now they have brought this. Now what they have done, they have brought this concept of mixins in UI as well. Okay, so how it is in UI? Let's suppose there is a class. Okay, so I'll give you a rough idea of mixins in class. All right, where I will write. Okay, I create a new file. New file, let's say mixins.ts. Okay, so I have a class whose name can be product. Okay, then there is a class whose name is price. Okay, this product may contain some information. It may be having a constructor, right? And which takes some name comma description. All right, same thing will be here as well. It will be string. Description is also again going to be a string, right? Similarly, price will contain the maybe MRP as its field, and it is going to be a number, right? And it also takes one constructor which takes MRP, and it sets this dot MRP equals MRP, right? Here also it does this dot name equals name, and this dot description equals description. Okay, DESC only. Okay, so what it does, these are two classes, right, which make some object, right? It will make an object which will give you name and description. This will make an object which will give you MRP, right? When the new objects of both of these classes will be created, right, what the object of price will contain? It will contain MRP. What the object of product will contain? It will contain name and description, right? So when user wants the information of all the three, what it will do? It will return the information by merging both of these classes. By not merging both of these classes, but merging the result of these two classes. Okay, let's suppose there is a function which gives give complete info. Okay, and here it can accept one parameter maybe, right? What can be the parameter? It can be a parameter like what all you want in mixins. Mixins may be the parameter. Okay, and then what I want let my product details equals to give complete information. Okay, and here I can pass maybe I can send a text that I want the price information. Okay, in this function I can check if what mixins equal to price. That means user want the information of price. Then what I will do, I will create the product class object of class product, right? I'll say let p equals new product, right? And here I will pass some name, maybe Samsung, and I say smartphone. All right, then I will say let price equals new price, and I will pass the price information, maybe 50,000. Why is it giving error? Oh, it is saying block scoped variable price. Oh, it's the same. So I say just PR. Okay. If it is price, now it has got this, right? Then what it will return? It can return an object which contains what? Which contains product name as p dot name. Then product description as p dot description, and it contains product price as pr dot mrp. Okay, so it will be returned in this. Now I can just print this, my product details. Okay, now what I will do, I will go to this mixins.js file. I'll just take this code and I will put it in the browser. You can see what it prints. It prints a complete object. This object contains smartphone, this contains Samsung, this contains product price as well. Okay, so what I have shown you is one very simplest implementation of mixins. Okay, just like I have checked here, if mixins is equal to price, right? Tomorrow it can be what? Inventory as well, right? According to our this example, right? If they want the inventory, right? Then I can write the code to check if mixins he wants inventory, right? Then I will create another class of inventory and then I will do that particular logic. Okay. So this concept of mixins is mostly used at the back end. Okay. So this is a really good concept. Even we have used in our projects as in my projects, in my real-time projects, we have used mixins in our backend. Okay, and it's really, really good because it gives you some extra information on demand basis, right? So you need not to do another request or whatever. All right. Monica, where is you are asking at line number 17? This makes sense. Yeah, this is nothing but a formal parameter. That's it. This is a function and it is a parameter. You can give any name here. Right? It's just a function parameter. You can give
Is
any
it
name.
not mixins is not inbuilt? It's like here we are only writing the definition of mixin, right?
Yeah. That is what I told. Mixins is a concept. It is not related to any technology or not related to any particular language specific. No. Mixins is a concept. Several languages implement that concept in their own way.
Okay.
Okay. So JavaScript was
And
not having, it was not implementing it. But yeah, via this code, we can do this.
and one more thing here. You said mixins in give complete info function. The mixins is a parameter and that can be anything. It's not mandatory to write mixins itself, right?
Yeah, this can be
Uh,
anything. It's a
yeah,
local
and
variable.
inside the function, if mixins is equals to price, you said, means in what is the second table that we wanted to combine with the first one, that table name we need to give, or how exactly the price is mentioned there?
This price I just mentioned just because I was passing to showcase you, I was passing price here that I want the information along with the price information. And if tomorrow, if you want with the inventory, you will pass inventory here.
Okay.
Okay, then you will check
What
maybe
would be the
you will,
additional information that we wanted to show? That class we can pass it as a condition.
exactly. So here you will check if mix is equals to what? If mix is equal to inventory, then according to that you will write the code here. Inside this, you will write according to that.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and here you can check if mixins is at all present at all. Okay, if mixins is not passed, right? If mixins, right? If mixins means basically if it is there, or you can just check maybe it is undefined.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it is undefined, that means the caller of this function, whosoever is calling this, it does not want any other information. You can simply return this product. You can simply return
The
this.
product information directly.
Yeah, you can directly return the product information. Not like this. That's it. Right. So look at this function. This is pretty handy, and this is really good. That if user do not want any other information, just return the product information. If he wants it along with the price, then pass it like this. If you want with inventory, then write the logic and pass it. Okay. So this is the simpler, very simple implementation I have shown you. This is something written by me only. No, Sanjay, mixin is not a keyword. As I was already telling, that this mixin is nothing but a local variable I have created. You can take anything, maybe A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever name you want to give. Since so that you can relate it with the mixins concept, I have given it a name as mixins.
So getting or retrieving the values from two different classes, that concept is called as mixins, but it is not a keyword, you mean to say, right?
Yeah, exactly. As
Okay.
I told in the very starting, that mixins is just a concept. There is no keyword or anything related to mixins.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a
Got it.
concept. How you implement it may vary. So I have given this simple information, simple implementation. Okay, you may write it in several ways. You may write a switch block here. You may do some other stuff. You may do some other logic. Okay, but from my point of view, I have written this as simple as it can be because I am telling you from an understanding point of view so that you guys understand it. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm done from my side for today's session. Mixins. Yep. So here also they have given one example. If you want to go through that, you can go through that sometime if you want to. There is one activable, there is one disposable, there is a smart object which is disposable as well as activable. activable. Okay, so instead of going through this way, it is lot of syntax and a lot of jargon words are used here. So but still you can go through this, not a big issue. It is also like it is using for each function, right? You can just go through it if you want to. It is using for each, and using for each it is fetching the values. Okay, so it's all about syntax which you follow. All right. Yep, so that's it from my side. You guys have any doubts? If any doubts, you can ask. No? Okay. All right, then what we'll do, we will see you guys on Wednesday, where we will create our first Angular project. Okay, and then we will see how we proceed further from there. Okay, so till now what we have done is the ramp up. Okay, so that when you see some syntax in Angular, you must be aware of what it is doing. Okay, you may not be writing all this stuff directly, but yeah, you should have a little knowledge about it. All right. Okay, cool then. We'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, bye. Have a good night.